We have with us Jessica from Tales of the Force. Welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much for
Hello.
doing
Hello
this
there.
review. Yes. Hello there,
Of
General
course.
Kenobi.
Yes, yes. And I do have my pups in the room with me, so
Yes.
hopefully they will be a little contained and not too loud, but we'll
Yes.
we'll, we'll see we'll see how it goes. Last time I tried to record, my little year and a half old dog almost took my desk down jumping in my lap. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be great. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here and talk about this and chat about the two episodes that just came out. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we love a little doggo ambiance in the background. Very excited to see any doggo acrobatics. We've got hot cocoa as well. I've got
Yes,
some
I
ginger
do.
ale, and we've got, you got your hot cocoa.
It
Yes, your
might be a
spiced.
little spiked, but it's fine. My face makes a face. It's because I might have put a little too much in it. Girl needs to sleep tonight. So
Yeah. Yeah. Don't we all? Don't we all? All right. Yes. Okay. So, again, once more, for the people out there who don't, if you are not already following Jessica, stop what you're doing right now and go follow Tales of the Force. All right. She is on all the interwebs, but I'm going to let her tell you where to find her.
Um, I that makes me think of sorry, random. Whoop, that's what my
Yeah.
brain does. One of
Yeah.
my favorite movies of all time. Logan Lucky. If you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic
Yes.
movie with Adam
Yes.
Driver and Channing Tatum. And I
My
love it when they're
man's.
yes,
Yeah.
it's so great. And they're trying to recruit those guys. He's like, I know all them Twitters.
I know everything there is to know about computers, okay? All the Twitters, I know them.
I know all them Twitters. But I am on Instagram and Threads and TikTok, and everyone's trying to get me on Blue Sky. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
Um, and then all the audio episodes of the podcast are wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, all the places. And then the video versions are on the YouTube channel. So yeah, it's fun. I've enjoyed it. I just started in March and you were the second guest, so
Yes.
it was fun.
What a wild ride.
I
I
know.
feel like it's been forever, but it's only been what, like 6 months,
I know.
possibly
It's
7 months.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, for the third time, let us know. We had some technical malfunctions over here on my end,
It's all
but
good.
let us know what your channel is about. What do you do there? What do you post there, etc.
Yes. Yes. So Tales of the Force is about sharing fans' personal Star Wars stories. So it does kind of go beyond just, why do you like it? How did you get into it? I've tried to be really intentional with how I have everything set up. And so it is fans of all kinds. Not everyone likes all of the same things, and that's totally okay. But why do they like the things that they like? Why does it resonate with them personally? So it's not really like reviewing things or things like that, and that is wonderful, and I love all of
Yeah.
that, those accounts and podcasts and YouTube's channels as well.
Yes.
um but this is about people and their stories, so it can be um deeper and a little bit more in depth with different things in people's lives, or sometimes it's just kind of fun and more lighthearted. So it depends on what people want to share, what they feel comfortable sharing. I always feel so beyond honored that people would open up in the way that they do to share what they do share, about how Star Wars has helped their lives, through good times, bad times, the in between, what the characters mean to them, some of the themes, just different things like that. So, yeah, it's just a personal telling of more than just like why we love it, but how it's affected us and how it matters to us. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Super fundamental for us, like that, those stories that they tell you, they are a part of our childhood and like the foundation for who we are now. Like it's such an integral part of a lot of us. So
Yeah.
I love this safe space that you create to
Oh,
allow
thanks.
people to be able to, tell those stories and then show that like, hey, like this is so much more. And again, not to say that the reviews and the
Yeah.
theories and all those videos are not good, but there is a deeper part to it and that we can all connect to. So yes,
Yeah.
I love that space that the people get to tell their stories in. So
Yeah.
yes, be
I
sure to check out her channel.
Well,
Definitely.
thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
I hope it just kind of brings people more together because I think we can all have opinions and opinions are wonderful and there's nothing wrong with them. But sometimes there can be a little bit more of a personal reason why someone might rank movies differently or
Yeah.
um like a character more than another one. And it doesn't make them a bad fan or not as good of a fan. It just means that we all have I don't know. We have all different circumstances that we've grown up with that make us view art differently. And so things are going to touch us differently than other people. And I
Yeah.
think um I don't know, I hope that can help the fandom in even a small way. Like I hope it kind of it does that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see the impacts in the community for sure. So it is there, it is growing, but yes, make sure to check her out on all of the Twitters, on all of the
All
social
them
media,
Twitters.
all of them Twitters, Threads, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, she will be there. So yes. Um, but our topic of the day or of the night, as it is late at night, but we are night owls anyway, so
Mhm.
it's fine. Skeleton Crew, first two episodes just dropped tonight. Overall thoughts. I know you briefly touched on them earlier. Give us a brief rundown of that again once more.
Yeah, I have been excited about this show because it kind of focuses on kids and
Mhm.
like stories of kids in the galaxy far, far away. And why I love all the other stories as well, and grew up on the original trilogy and, just looked up to Leia and loved, obviously loved Luke and Han and everyone else, but I just loved Leia. And it it really resonated with me, but it even resonated even more when The Phantom Menace came out. And I was a kid, Anakin was a kid. I
Mhm.
mean, Padme was a young teen. And so as I kind of grew with the characters as their ages, as those three movies came out, it was um such a pivotal point in my life, going into the teenage years and going into high school and all of that. And seeing the characters and what they went through in a completely different life of what was going on at that time and so I think that helped me really connect to Star Wars a lot more. The dynamic of some of the characters being around my age. And so I've been really excited to see the kids and for what that could bring to the fandom, and a whole new generation, just like, the every new movie that comes out and that sort of thing kind of inspires another generation. And so that has been, something that I've been really excited about. And I'm sorry, people will hear me probably say that with anything that I talk about Skeleton Crew,
Mm.
is about the aspect of it being about kids and kind of through the mind of a child. And that just really, the imagination and, how, I mean, I grew up with a lot of male cousins. And so we played at
Mm.
Super Nintendo and make believe Star Wars things, and I was always Leia, and we had all these fun adventures, and it starts with that. This whole
Mhm.
show starts with
Exactly.
the kids
Yeah.
imagining being Sith and Jedi and fighting each other with lightsaber battles and wanting to find this hidden temple. And I mean, I remember digging for treasure as a kid in my backyard, and it was aquarium rocks, spoiler alert, that my mom had like thrown out.
Yes.
I thought I had found like hidden gems. My
Yeah.
best friend
Yeah.
and I, we thought we found these like, fancy rocks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Jewels.
yeah, exactly. And my poor mom was like, I didn't have the heart to tell you that was like aquarium rocks that I had thrown out. But it's like the quote that Yoda said, and I'll get it wrong, but it's like, I don't remember what he said. If it was like beautiful the mind of a child is, or wonderful
Yeah.
the mind of a child is,
Right.
or.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this whole show is kind of that vibe, and I'm obsessed. I love it. It's been the first two episodes were so fun, and I totally get that this show is not going to be for everybody. It is very different, and that's okay. But I find it just a fun show to watch, and yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. So,
Perfect. Yeah, I love that you bring up that quote about like I'm gonna get it wrong too. I'm gonna butcher it, but truly wonderful the mind of a child is, or whatever, however Yoda phrases it, because it's not an actual sentence. It's like all everywhere.
Yoda speaks.
Yeah, Yoda spokes. But yes, that quote, I think that's perfect. And like you said, it starts out with that. We see Wim, is that his name? I don't know. I'm gonna
Mhm.
get his name. Wim,
Yeah.
he's spinning around in his chair with his spaceship, and he's literally half of the opening scene is him like with his little figurines. And I remember I was watching the episode, and I was like, that was me. That was me when I was like 8 or 9 with my like young Boba Fett figurine and my Zam ship from episode 2. Like that's all of us. And so, yeah, it's through a perspective of that. And also, the directors were talking about like they brought their childhoods into this. And so, it's a reflection of that too. And I think we can truly see like the passions that they brought into
Yeah.
this series. But yeah, I've loved it. I love the suburbia like little
Yes.
community that we get. I think it's really cute. When I saw Wim's house, I was like, I want my house to look like that. Like that couch looks so comfy. What is that cereal that they're having? What is that milk that they're drinking? All of that stuff. Um, but yeah, it was a great introduction. That first opening scene too, it was like it wasn't like action packed, but it was like fast paced and it got us
Mhm.
into like the pirate side of the story and then transitions into the kids world and like their secret planet, their treasure planet. But yes, overall I think we can agree, at least for you and I, our opinions are it was great. um the second question that I had for us was, do you have a favorite character so far?
I mean, I love Neil. Everyone loves
Mhm.
Neil, I
Yeah.
feel like. But I also really love oh my gosh, KB. I don't know. I love her hair, and I love
Mhm.
her whole, like, I feel like inner child me would have been like obsessed with her. Like
Yeah.
me as a little kid, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so cool." Like,
Yeah.
and I would have loved Fern too, but like
Mhm.
just like her whole like little visor and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
I don't know. I love that whole aesthetic, and it's so Star Wars. And I don't know what kid hasn't walked around with like some broken piece of something around their face trying to look like, a cyclops or something. So
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
For me, it's giving Spy Kids, but like in
Yes.
Star Wars. And
Mhm.
I was obsessed with
I
Spy
love Spy
Kids. Like,
Kids.
I loved it so much that Junie's band-aids in the very first movie that came out, I wanted his colorful band-aids so bad. Totally agree with that. KB. And then like she's so tech, right? Like to me, she's tech from Bad Batch as well. She's pretty logical, super smart. Like you get those vibes. So yeah, she is a great character. I love Neil's commentary though. I
Oh
think
my
it
gosh,
makes
he's
all of
me.
episode one. Yes, yes.
When
I
he
love
said, I even wrote it down. He said,
yes.
what did he say? Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I'll get to it, I'm sure somewhere, but he said something and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's me. That is literally Neil is me."
I love when he's talking to Wim about what is her name? Tula, and he's like, but Wim, I like her. And Wim's like, but you've never even spoken to her.
I know. I was like, "Oh my gosh, little cute little like school
He's so
school
cute.
school child crushes." Like it's
Yes.
adorable.
Yes, the way he's like sitting there looking at her. Like at first, everyone thought from that little snippet that he was bored, but he was actually like falling in love with his other kids. So I love that. He's so wholesome. I think he really does make episode one your house. And then the little baby Neil is like his family.
No, they're so
Yes,
cute.
they
Like, there's
are.
more of them.
Yeah, there's more. There's three of them. There's three of them. They
I
were
don't know
so
why
cute.
something even smaller makes it even cuter, but I was like, there's triplets. So like at first you think there's just one more little sibling. You're like, oh no, there's three.
There's three of them. Four of these little Neils running around the household.
Oh, I know. It was so fun. All of it, like, I don't know. I loved me being me. And I love looking into like the psychology behind
Yes.
characters
Yes.
and different things
Yes.
like that.
Yes,
And
please.
I think it's because my dad is a therapist.
Mhm.
And so I think that's kind of like why where I get that
Yeah,
from. But like looking at the kids, and that's the first thing that I kind of noticed. And I felt like there's gonna be a theme of what you're expected to do in life versus like creating your own fate, right? And we see that with a
sure.
lot of shows with kids. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes back to like the never ending story and like all, this
Yeah.
whole era of movies and shows that this is kind of pulling from. And so there's a lot of things of the kids wanting to go on these adventures, wanting to escape. Some of them want to escape life. Fern wants to race, and it's these older kids, and she says, we have to look tough or be tough to be, look tough to be tough, or something to that extent, she says at some point. And, it's just, there's this whole juxtaposition, if I can say that word, of
Yes.
like Neil's family and Wim's family,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
he has the whole time he's like, I want to get back to my family. And
Yep.
Wim's like, why? Because and as adults, as we're watching it, we can kind of empathize, I think, a little bit more with like Wim's dad. And we're like, oh, he's working, something happened, like his mom is gone. And
Mhm.
he's trying to probably do the best that he can, but Wim wants time with his dad. He wants him to read him a story. He wants all these things. And so I love that they're setting up kind of these different lives that these kids have. I think Wim and Fern are going to find out they're a little bit more similar than they think because of how their parents are. And we don't
Yes.
really know much about KB or her family,
Mhm.
but we do notice, she's like, sorry, Fern made me say that, and so there's definitely a dynamic there too.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I noticed a lot of things about the kids, and then a lot of references to a lot of, other Star Wars things, a lot of poetry, things rhyming.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of callbacks to some fun things, but we can get into that as we go. But so yeah, I definitely noticed them playing a lot with, the family dynamics of the kids and what made them that lead them to where they are and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because it is something that I picked up as well. I really noticed it when Wim was like exploring the ship, and then every time that Neil brought up like I just want to go home, and it was like Wim had asked his dad to like read him a bedtime story, and he's like, "Aren't you getting a little too old for that?" And I just kind of feel like Wim is trying to fill this like loneliness, this void that he kind of has with an absent, mother, and his dad trying to do the best that he can do as a single father. And so his need for adventure, I'm sure that's just a part of his personality, but it's definitely heightened by the lack of his mother. And so he's definitely trying to fill that. And then Neil, he has this wholesome family. And as soon as he gets home from school, he's greeted with love and hugs. And like, yeah, like that was like the type of juxtaposition, try to say that word as well.
it's a
That's,
hard one.
yeah, that you were pointing out. As soon as Wim gets home, there's no one to greet him, right? He's kind of just left to his own devices. And so, yeah, I like that you brought that up a lot because I'm sure that we'll see that play out. And like you said, Wim and Fern finding similarities or common ground. Like they're polar opposites, but like on the same like spectrum. I don't know if that makes sense, you
Yeah.
know?
But it's
Um,
interesting that Wim's dad is who was looking for them too, out of
mm,
all the parents, that's the one that
yeah,
was like, "Where is he?" So, I don't
that
know,
is
it's
an
just
interesting point. Yeah.
it's all very interesting, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that more explored. And then also, I'm pretty sure that we saw in the trailers, Wim and Fern's mom are like together at one point talking, and I wonder how that conversation is going to go. Like we'll see the contrast between him and her,
Yeah.
therefore their families. So yes, love that. So favorite character for you, KB. I love Neil as well, but I'm also on that KB train with the visor. It's giving that Spy Kids vibe. Um, Fern's mannerisms as well, I just want to mention, is so 80s. Like, I just like the way she sits. She's like,
Mhm.
like she just like kind of like that cool kid and like says losers. And then there's the unclaimsies and claimsies verbiage that they use.
I know.
I love that.
I love it when he's like,
Um,
"Oh, that's fair," or something like that, like,
yeah,
"Oh,"
yeah. Oh yeah, that's fair. Claimsies. And then Wim's like, but we'll get in the ship and they didn't do claimsies inside the ship,
Yeah.
like all these technicalities. It's
And the
amazing.
wizard, I love when he's like, "Oh, wizard," I'm
Yes.
like, "Oh, I love that, so cute."
Yes, so wizard. And he sits too. He's like that. They were bikes, so wizard, so
Mhm.
wizard.
I love it. Oh my
Um,
gosh. Oh, did you catch
yeah. Go ahead.
so when she is telling the lie about what's underneath, right? And she's like, "Oh, it's this old sewage system. They built this whole thing. There's
Yes.
poison gas that made them all crazy." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is like a Kotar reference to like the Manon
Mhm,
whole thing." And I was like,
mhm.
"Oh, like that callback made me so happy." And
Yeah.
I love every time I see like an Ithorian. I love it. Yeah, I don't think we saw any Cellcath yet, but it's still, if I'm saying that right, but it's still just like, I don't know. I loved all the creatures in the very
Yes.
beginning. There's so many,
Yes.
like so
Hmm.
many from the
Hmm.
Star Wars universe, like all in that one like whole scene. It's just incredible. So yeah.
Yeah. There is a plethora of Star Wars aliens and species from the very beginning into the school and when they get to that spaceport. Um, yeah, I love this. I love the shot first that we get when we're entering the spaceport. I love the reference to Aldani. I thought that was really fun.
Yes.
Yeah, for Andor, a little Andor love. And yeah, that shot was amazing. And then also like while this show is from a kid's perspective, like it's their journey, it's for all ages. And then so when they get there, there's like those adult elements, right? There's the adult components that we see because it is a pirate spaceport. So they have that like brothel that's going on
Yeah.
and like other random like the tattoo parlor and all that.
I
I'm like, oh
know.
gosh.
It gave me such like Tortuga vibes from like Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of that, the music I felt was like Space Pirates of the
I loved
Caribbean,
it.
especially
Yes.
when they're at the spaceport. Yes. Do you have any points about episode 2 and like the spaceport? Anything that stood out to you or characters, lines, anything like that?
Um, I I think it's really interesting. So many things.
Mm.
So the quote is from episode 2 that Neil says, and he says, "We're gonna explode into a million pieces." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." I love that SM33 is already
Mm.
playing on in the beginning, like the programming part, and that Fern was smart enough
Mm.
to notice that because we see that a lot with a lot of the droids and a lot of the like newer movies, K2SO or um the like is it the IG like the droid in
IG-11, yeah.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
Mandalorian and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that I feel like kids might miss a little bit, but it's
Mm.
definitely it's like a deeper topic, but about like the programming of the droids and like your programming versus like what you can do or what, and I think of like the Solo movie and things like that, just
Yes.
like
Yeah.
all the droid stuff. And so I
Yeah.
loved that they immediately kind of touched on that too in the beginning. That felt very cohesive with like the
Mhm.
storyline of the droids and even C3PO and his whole journey through the whole Skywalker saga. And so
Mhm.
I loved that.
Mhm.
Um I love that they had all of those different things that were going on, like you said, that you notice. Like it did feel again very like I don't know, like the whole brothel and stuff or the club. Like it had a very like um Kotar vibe, like almost
Mhm.
like the
Yeah.
second game
Sure. Yeah.
when you're at like Nar Shaddaa,
Mhm. Mhm.
and all of that. And so I don't know, like I just and you have to go into that club and you have to go into the different levels and there's different poisons and
Yes. Yeah.
all of the different things. So it gave
Mhm.
me like that vibe.
Mhm.
And then this is the end of episode 1, but I have to go back to it because I felt like it
Yeah.
was a fun like Disney thing that I felt like I
Yes.
when they're like don't touch the button or don't touch anything.
Yes.
And it made me think of
Yes.
Finding Nemo and he's like,
Yeah.
he touched the
Touch the
button.
butt.
If you put one fin on that boat, are you listening to me? Don't touch the boat. Nemo!
Yes. I love that he does like a quick little like poke too
Yeah. He's like,
when
don't
he's
touch
touching the
it.
button.
And then his like little fin
Yeah.
in the movie's like and that's just like what it literally it made me think of that. So sorry. That's
Yes.
like
I
going
love
back to
that.
episode 1, but
No, I love that connection. Yes.
and I love that like I'm so fascinated
Mm.
by the fact that no one knows where their planet is. And they're like,
Yes.
we're from
Mhm.
this planet at Atten. And
Mhm.
everyone's like, no, you're not. And they're like,
Right.
yes, we are. And like at first the droid's like, I don't know where that is. Like which star is it? And they're like, we don't know. And then they get to the place and they're like, you can't be from this lost planet of eternal treasure. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, and then they have like the old, and they do say Old Republic credits, which could just be like to them Old Republic, like before the Empire, not
Mhm.
necessarily like what we
Mhm.
think of as Old
Right, right,
Republic.
right. Right. Yeah.
But that's interesting too, and like I noticed kind of that too at the beginning because the very very beginning of the first episode, the pirates do this whole thing and they mutiny because they go and there's nothing left. There's one credit. And then it goes pretty quickly to his dad like dropping all of this money in front of him. Here's your lunch money for the week. And so I found that kind of interesting
Mhm.
too. And then when we get to this place, they're like, "Oh my gosh," and they're fighting over like one piece of it. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I found all of that just so interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's like this puzzle and we're getting little pieces here and there and yeah, like everyone sees their planet as a myth and I'm so intrigued as to like how like what made them disappear, right? Like become so non-existent. What made it such like a big treasure planet? I love that like phrase like treasure planet because it reminds me of Treasure Planet the
Yes.
movie. Um so yeah, and then like they have like these crisp old Republic credits, and like you said, it's crazy that they're fighting over like little pieces, just like one little credit. And yeah, so and I'm wondering how the crew got to that spaceport. And I'm also wondering, going back to episode 1, sorry, like my brain is everywhere. Episode
Mine too,
1,
it's fine.
the very opening scene, the guy with the helmet, I'm wondering if it's Jude Law. I'm wondering if he was the head of the crew. And I'm wondering how the crew, like what happened after that and how did they get to that spaceport? Like what brought them there? So yeah, a whole bunch of little pieces of a puzzle that we have to put together as an audience, little clues and whatnot here. Do you have any takes on like the crew, on like how we first saw them to where they are now in episode 2?
I kind of just wonder how much time has
Mm,
passed too.
yes. Yeah.
And I find it so interesting that like clearly we're led to believe that this planet um that the kids are on is a part of the New Republic. But at the
Mhm,
same time, they're not using New Republic credits.
mhm.
And what did they call Fern's mom? They called her, I'm trying to remember the title that she had. It wasn't like magistrate. It was like
Ambassador? Was it an
some
ambassador? Something like
something,
that?
but it was
Yeah.
definitely like government sounding.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so that's really interesting to me. And so I watching some of the trailers that I watched, I really didn't have any like theories or different things
Mhm,
with this show,
mhm.
but like I almost wonder if there's some like remnant, right? That like escaped. And like how do they have all these stories? These kids have like all these access to all these stories about the Jedi and the Sith. And when you think about like the Last Jedi and like Broom Boy, right? Like he starts telling stories of Luke Skywalker.
Mhm,
But this
mhm.
is like Clone Wars, it feels like era
Yeah.
stories
Yeah.
because of the Sith aspect. And um there is like so many things that they say that just seems very, I don't know, like how would these kids know this stuff? And he um has that data pad or data pad that he is like scrolling through all these things, and we see all these clips and all
Mhm,
this stuff. And so
mhm.
I don't know, it just makes me wonder if they're like some planet that maybe didn't get touched by the empire somehow, and like maybe they were hiding, like, or maybe they were a remnant that fought and like fled, and that's why the mom's not that. I don't know, like it's just very interesting to me that if you notice, like has a mom, but we don't know if she has another parent, and like I don't know. Like it's just like where are the other adults? Where are the
Yeah.
other and there was aliens on that planet, but I don't know if you noticed when they got to that like spaceport, she was like, "Look at all these aliens." And I'm like,
Mm,
"But you
mhm.
had like Neil's an alien."
Right.
There's like a Thorian that's like walking that little pig dog thing down
Yes,
the
the frog
road.
dog. I want one. Yes.
I want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Exactly the
And so,
mood.
like, it's like one of those things where, like, I don't know, like that line was interesting to me. Look at all these
Mm,
aliens. I'm like, girl, you've got aliens on your planet. Like, what are you talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah.
And they say we didn't know there was this many stars
Mm,
when they get into
mhm,
space. So I
mhm.
don't know. It's just like I don't know. There's like so much that we like, and I love that it's making me think and it's making me want to figure things out. And I feel like,
Yes.
that's things that some of the other shows have tried to do. But this is like genuinely making me go, okay, there's a puzzle here. What is it?
Yeah.
So sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like rambling.
No, I love all the points that you're bringing up because I was also thinking like it had my brain running and I'm like how did this planet come to be? And then you kind of mentioned like it was something untouched and my theory is kind of like what if a group during like Clone Wars period time frame and even like Order 66 like as that happened, what if a group kind of like isolated themselves on this planet and saw everything that was happening in the galaxy and wanted to create this kind of like utopia and then
Mm-hmm.
somehow like maybe they found this planet that was full of treasure and they're like oh this is a great place to like build our community on. That's my wild theory. I have no idea if that's valid or not, but that's what I was thinking. But yeah, it was interesting to hear that they didn't know that there was this many stars and I'm like because you also see those like little red spots like in their atmosphere and so they have this like controlled atmosphere and I
Yes,
wonder
and they kept saying, how did they go past the like this block? And that was not like a blockade, but they called
right
it something.
like some type of barrier.
The
Yeah.
barrier. Yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
no ships can get in. So it is definitely very intentionally like hidden in a
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, like yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched any other reactions or gone online to see what anybody
Yes.
else is thinking. So this
Yeah.
is like me purely speculating without
Right.
like the echo
Immediate
chamber
reaction
of
from
the
it. Hmm.
internet.
Hmm. Yeah, I have yet to either. I watched a brief clip of Explore the Forest, but they were mostly talking about characters. So this is also just like my raw reaction
Yeah,
after watching the
same.
episodes. But yeah, I love all those points. Yeah, it's super, super intriguing. I love having them have us work. And I love all the little Easter eggs like you brought up from Kodar or episode 2 or Andor. Like I love all of, and then also someone I had watched before going into it, I was trying to get as much information, as much theory, so that way I could theorize as I was watching it. Someone on the ship, there's like a trailer and they paused it and they broke down all of the planets that are listed in the history of the ship, and it was like I forget I think Camino was on it, Mustafar was on it, and it's just like who was going to all these planets, like when, and that brings me to like the Clone Wars time period, like Order 66, like maybe that ship is a part of, maybe that ship is a part of sorry, I lost my train of, that ship is a part of the crew, in my theory, the crew that like found this planet and created that community, like maybe that's all the planets they explored during that time period and that's
Yeah.
how long it's been there for. um but yeah, that's,
Could
yeah,
they
I
be
love that.
a remnant of the separatists?
I love that idea too, because they have all those droids, right? They have all those droids as like the teachers and guards and security and all that stuff. So yes, you were a genius at this.
I
Like I
don't
love
know.
this.
I don't know about that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they, I mean, did separatists have their own credits or did they use like Republic credits?
Mm,
That's the only
I think
thing.
it
Like,
was
I
all
don't,
Republic. Yeah. Maybe it was just something that they found on the planet. Maybe some of them had them and then they just replicated it and they were like, this is going to be our currency because we're trying to create this like dystopia kind of
I mean, it
environment.
is a very like suburbia, like, and the
Yes.
kids having to do a test on what they're going to be. Like, that seems
Yeah.
very controlling
Yes.
and like, yeah, just very interesting too. Um,
Yes. Those
but
dystopian novels that
yeah,
we read growing up. That's
yeah.
how it felt. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So I don't know. I wonder if it's I feel like it's people that broke away from something and it makes
Hmm.
me feel like it's during the Clone Wars time of some
Yes.
sort.
Yeah.
But like how would the Empire not find them? Like that's the only thing
Hmm.
that I'm like,
Hmm.
maybe they didn't have any force users and so they weren't looking. I don't know. But like you would think they would look for a planet. If this planet had treasure, eternal treasure or
Right.
whatever,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
that's something that the Empire would be looking for unless it's not force related. When Palpatine is like, well, I can plunder other planets and I'm really looking for eternal life. So maybe it
Right.
wasn't interesting to him. I don't
Right.
know. I
Wasn't
don't
worth his time, wasn't worth his resources because he was
know. Yeah.
already putting so much resources into cloning and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So, yeah, perfect. I think these are solid theories from just initial reactions and what we've gotten so far. Any other things that stuck out to you or any other wild theories that you might have? Something small or big, doesn't matter.
Um, I don't know. I'm interested to see how this plays into the bigger picture because I know
Yes.
that this is after the empire fell. So we're in the time frame of like the Mandalorian, and we
Hmm.
know that like Luke is still out there, probably. I mean, clearly Luke is still out there. But you know, you have all these force users that are still out there, right? So, I mean, we don't know really where Ahsoka is right now, but you know, Ahsoka's out there, Luke is out there, Balin is out there, Shin is out there, Ezra is out there, probably in another galaxy, but you know,
Yeah.
like all, I mean, yeah, more than likely, but
Yeah.
still, like all these people are out there, and these kids are like know about the Jedi clearly.
Mhm.
Um, and so I don't know. I'm just curious how this all is going to fit into everything because I do think that there is a reason that certain projects have happened. And I think we're in an era right now, which some people might not like it, but I think it's kind of a similar thing to what Clone Wars did for the prequels, right? Like it filled
Mm.
in so much information. Bad Batch is filling in more information between that and the original trilogy. Same thing with Andor and Rogue One and all this kind of stuff. And so I feel like this whole era is to kind of enhance and give more information to the sequels. And so I don't know. It's just like, why would they have this if there wasn't like something more? There's something I don't know. Like, so I love that. I love that they're tying things together and they're trying to show different things that are going on and all of those things. So I don't have any like wild crazy theories. I don't think there are characters that I would love, to see. Um, if they're still alive, but at the same time, I feel like this is that show that we literally could get anybody. We could
Mhm.
get Omega.
Yeah.
We really could. Like
Mhm.
we could get so many people.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's just yeah, I don't know. Like it's so interesting. It's such a fun I don't know, it's just a fun show that like we don't really know we don't know what we're gonna get. So
Yeah, no, I love that you brought that up as well. I think watching it, I get so intrigued and wrapped up in the story that we're being given that I forget that this is actually a part of a larger um story plan with Dave and all of them. So definitely super interested to see how this all fits in, how it ties in, what purpose the story has to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. The end game is what people are calling it of the Star Wars universe as it is for Marvel. Um Speaking of characters that we'd love to see, what are some guests or cameos that you'd like to see in this show?
well, I mean, everybody talks about Hondo.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
from a
Mhm.
marketing, I love looking at things from a marketing perspective, which I know kind of
Yes.
ruins things for a lot of people because they're like, "Well, that's no fun." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a company and it needs to make money. It's how companies work,
Yep.
whether you like it or not. I mean, we're
Yep.
we're in a capitalistic society that
Yep.
companies make money, and
Yeah.
have shareholders, all the things of business that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I just was like, I remember this is like well-known knowledge, so I know I'm not like giving anything away at this point. But I was like, why is Hondo a Galaxy's Edge, right? Like
Mhm.
my mind is like, there has got to be a reason for this. Like,
Mhm.
yes, everyone loves him, but at that time he had just been in, animated stuff. And
Mhm.
so only a section of the fan base, the section everyone knows who he is and is obsessed and love
Right.
him. And
Right.
Jim Cummings is one of the sweetest people. I got to meet him at LA Comic Con and he did his Hondo voice, and, like, I was
Yes.
like, "I
Yes.
can't." Like, I was just like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this
Yeah.
is so amazing."
Yeah.
And he's just so great, and, like, yeah, I just was like, "Okay, I love that he's here." This is super random because so many people even that I was with on that trip that know Star Wars and love Star Wars but hadn't really watched all of the animated stuff were like, "Who is this character?" You
Mm.
know?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it would be wild to me that they would not put Hondo in
Yes.
this at
Mhm.
some sort of
Former
fashion,
fashion. Yeah.
former
Yeah.
fashion, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a marketing miss
Yeah.
if they didn't.
Yeah.
Um, but you know who else I would kind of love to see in this? I would
Let's
love to
hear it.
see if she's still alive. Fee from the Bad Batch. Because
Interesting.
she's a treasure
Interesting
hunter.
throw. Yeah.
Or someone
Right.
that's related
Yeah.
to her that, like, is a descendant maybe of some sort, or just somebody connected to her in
Yes.
some way. I would love it because,
Yes.
she found that random planet that had all that
Mhm.
technology that was like the ancients or whatever that
Yeah. Road to
nobody knew
Fallen
about.
Order. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
and so, yeah, I would love some Fee,
Yes.
in this,
Brilliant.
and I
Yeah.
mean, who doesn't love Wanda Sykes?
Mhm.
And she
Yeah.
legit could be in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she could play live action Fee
Yes.
100%. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's a character I would love to see. I mean, obviously Hondo. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think who else would be like in a pirate. I mean, I could see Omega maybe
Mhm.
somehow
Mhm.
being involved with
Yeah.
something. Um, but yeah, those are the three characters that I would say I would love to get a reference or something to would be Hondo, Fee, and then maybe like Omega or something. And I think it would be so funny if Hondo said something about like, oh, my old pal, like Jabba the Hutt or Lando Calrissian or something, and he's talking about
Yeah.
Ezra. Like that'd be hilarious. So, but yes, I don't know. Like just they've had so many other little tidbits of things that are not as noticeable for a lot of people, like the Kotar thing and
Mhm. Mhm.
even him looking at his reflection was like
Mhm.
such a call, not a call back because it hasn't happened yet, but for us a call back to like Ray seeing her reflection.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, I'd be shocked if we didn't get I don't know, things, but
Yeah.
sorry. I'm like rambling the whole
No.
who do you want to see? Like what are you
No.
theory
Yeah.
wise?
Well, I'm on the Fee train now because I completely forgot about her from Bad Batch, and I don't know. I feel like it was not poorly received, but maybe it was. Maybe I'm just sugarcoating it. But that episode of when they went on like that treasure hunt, like some people call it filler episodes, but like yes, some things may be filler episodes, but I feel like everything has a time and place and purpose. And like maybe that time and place and purpose was for this. And so I love that. I love that throw for Fee. Um, Hondo, I don't understand why they wouldn't. Like you said, major targeting miss, especially it would fit so well for all the kiddos who love Galaxy's Edge and Hondo, and for the people who watch the animated series, and for the people who don't, so they can get a better understanding of it because the directors and producers also said that they tried to make this show for people who have never watched Star Wars but just wanted to, watch for funsies, maybe with their Star Wars pals, and then also for us diehard fans. So an even mix of both, and Hondo kind of fits in both of those areas. So Hondo for sure, that's who I want to see. I want to hear his voice. I want to see him in live action. You've got the whole animatronic and Edge. Just grab that, stick that in the show. You're good to go. Fee is a great one. And Omega, I think that Omega would be really fun. Maybe she helps the kids in some way, some fashion. Some people were theorizing Maz Kanata because she's been around for such a really long
Mm.
time, has those connections.
Yes, that's a good
Mhm.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would I,
Mhm.
I would be really intrigued to see that. Maybe we get a bit of a hint of how she gets Luke's lightsaber in the show if she makes
Oh
an
my gosh,
appearance.
can you imagine how fun that would be to come up with that
Yeah.
story?
Yeah. What is like in some like and what if it's in the treasure planet? Like what if it's in,
Or people have talked about too recently, like how did Luke get Yoda's like a saber of Yoda's? Because like
mm,
didn't something happen to his that we saw? So it's like where was this other saber? How did he get it?
right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, Maz is one. Some of the diehard fans too were talking about Mara Jade, if like there was just a hint to her being like the Emperor's hand or some sort. Trying to think of other ones that I've heard that I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't know the connection to Cal Kestis making an appearance.
Mhm.
I think it's just from that trailer with the markings and whatnot. I haven't like read too much into that theory. That's another one that would be really wild to me. Oh, and Lando. Lando was the other one because he is a smuggler. So yeah,
I
those
mean,
are
Han was out smuggling again during this
yeah,
time.
yeah. He is a bigger one though, so I'm not sure that they'd put that in
I
the
mean,
show.
someone
But
could talk
maybe,
about him. I mean, he probably won't be in it, but he
yeah,
could be
yeah. A little
referenced.
mention, yeah,
Yeah,
referenced, yeah,
because he
yeah.
was out, on his
Yes.
BS again.
Yep. Yep. Leia not having it. Bigger, better things to worry about. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. That's a lot of characters to potentially have cameos, and I love that there's that space to be able to include it, and it connects to so many different parts of the galaxy. So, my final question, speaking of characters and theorizing, Judd, that's his name in the show, right? Judd,
I
no,
think so.
Nawal, something
Yeah.
like that. Jude Law's character.
Yeah.
Do you think he is Sith, Jedi, or neither? And what is the neither?
I don't know. So, one of the things that I found interesting
Mhm.
that made me, because before this, I was like, is he like using tricks? Like, because we didn't see
Mhm.
the whole that whole
The whole
scene with
scene,
like
right?
how he's pulling the key, that sort of thing
Right.
before until now. And so I was like, and I'm still not gonna remember. I didn't remember his name earlier today, and I'm not gonna remember it now. But and I love the actor, and I hate that I can't remember. But the guy who was like faking being a Jedi in Obi-Wan.
Kenobi. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't remember his name either, but yes, the guy with
yeah,
the magnets or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. And so I was like, is he like that? Is he doing something like that? But like when you see him stretch out his hand, and his hand is like shaking, like it is taking a lot of effort for him to do that. Um, and he's like covering his face. If he was the captain, which I honestly didn't even think about that in the beginning, like it would make sense for him if, Order 66 has happened, for him to wear something that is
Mhm.
covering his face.
Yeah.
And for him to be surprised that there's not credits, like he could have been using the force to like find
Yeah.
this bounty and different things.
Mhm. Yeah.
The force theme played.
Yes. Exactly what I was gonna mention.
They
Yes.
don't play the force theme, I don't feel like, unless the force is being used. Like,
Yes.
I feel like that is like sacrilege, like Star Wars, if they
Oh
did
yeah.
that.
Facts. Yeah. Heard that little theme playing when
Hmm.
he's making the key shake and come over to them. Yeah. So I definitely think it's authentic force, not a fraud.
But I don't know
But
if he's good or bad or like what he
right.
is.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we could learn more about what Balin is talking about, like the Jedi that are trained.
The Boken Jedi. Yes, that's what
Yeah,
I think he is. I think he's self-taught. I think maybe there's another theory that he could have been a youngling at the time of
he
Order
could have been a
66.
Padawan. Yeah, like Kanan.
Yeah, and self-taught himself after that. But yeah, I don't think that he's a Sith. I don't think that he's exactly a Jedi either. I think he's somewhere in between, like a Boken Jedi is what Balin refers to. Um, but if he is a Jedi, it'd be interesting to. I don't want an Order 666 flashback, but I'd like a little hint at like possibly who his master was, or what his background was, or whatnot. So yeah, I don't think a Sith. I don't have any reason to believe so far, but that could change. But
Yeah, yeah. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. But
But
I love his
there's
character.
definitely force users floating around. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
be
What if
interesting.
he becomes a part of like this new Jedi Order later on down the line? Like, I don't know. So,
There's so much. There's like, and like I get it. I get the argument of going outside of the Skywalker like
mhm,
time, right? Because
mhm,
that's like so much of what Star Wars has been.
mhm.
Um
Yeah.
and going like way past it or like ahead of it. We tried ahead of it. People threw their fits or
y-
whatever, which,
Yes.
it's fine, I guess. I mean, I wish it was like a healthier discussion.
Yes.
Again, I don't think people have to like everything,
Yeah.
but I wish it was like more of a healthier dialogue and
More
that,
civilized conversation.
yes.
Hmm.
Because I still think, um, it's like treading water is bringing this up, but I do really think that the Acolyte had so much potential. I really do.
I
Um,
agree.
and
Yeah.
there was so much there that they we're probably planning on doing. And it's like, it's really hard because, like, I heard someone say, like, they listed a bunch of shows and they were like, what if this show got canceled after season one? Like, what if
Mhm.
this show got canceled after season one? Like, shows that also some people, like, it struggled viewership or like audience reaction. Like, maybe not the quality of art or what you connect to and what you like is subjective. Okay. Like, bottom line, it's very subjective. But like,
Mhm.
the reaction were mixed in these shows that these people, I can't remember what shows that they brought up, but I was like, oh my gosh, like, I forgot that people had such a mixed reaction to this series after the first season, but then it got its second and third or whatever seasons. And then it's like these fan favorite shows, but people didn't
Mhm.
like them in the beginning.
Mhm.
And I hope that something can happen because I think there's so much potential still there for the stories and the lore and different things about like how this stuff hid and how they came to be and Plagueis and all this stuff. Like, there's just so much there. And then the connection of these witches to like what they're doing with this stuff with the Night Sisters and everything. I still think there's so much to be explored with that. Um, and so I'm still kind of like, yes, I love stuff outside of the Skywalkers, and I would love, old Republic things or,
Yes.
you
Mhm.
know, way down the line or whatever, or the more of the High Republic or different things like that. But
Yeah.
there is so much storytelling that can be done within the Skywalker timeline that doesn't even have to involve them. Like,
Mhm.
look at Andor. I know that's also not everybody's cup of tea, but it's like
Yep.
the people, like
Right.
what's going on with the people. And I think
Right.
Rebels kind of touches on that with its storytelling. And yes, it
Yep.
does involve force users and things, but it does touch on like Lothal and what happens to the people and how it affects the farmers and different things like that on that planet when the Empire came and just took over everything. So um I don't know, and that's where I think, people have talked about Star Wars being like a buffet. Take what you want, leave the rest. And I don't think that's a cop out. I don't think that's a cop out for, saying that people want, good writing and they want good shows, but that again, like, it's gonna be subjective. I mean, look at some of cult classic movies that are they ain't Oscar worthy. People love them. So while it is good to look at things from a critical point of view, that is still a certain point of view. And I think this show is fun, and I hope people continue to enjoy it and have fun with it. It's Star Wars. Yes, I have a podcast that looks at the deeper meanings that sometimes might not even exist intentionally in these
Mhm.
spaces.
Mhm.
Um, but Star Wars is also really fun, and it's supposed to be fun, and it's like space and pirates and lightsabers and space wizards and all this kind of stuff. And I love that the show is like embracing that fun side of things. So
Yes. Yes. Preach. Yes. I love it. Yeah.
sorry. Me
No.
get off
No.
my
No.
soapbox. Me drink my now cold hot cocoa.
Oh no.
I'm the slowest drinker of any kind of beverage on the planet. Like,
Same.
it's horrible.
I will have this tiny little can in the fridge for like 4 days. I will take little sips here and there. I will not finish it for a week.
Oh
Um,
my gosh. Can we touch on the costumes too?
yes, go for it. Go with your points. Go, go, go,
I
go.
totally was gonna look up who it was, and I like saw it in the credits.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know this. I do work on a show. And so from doing that, I love looking at credits and seeing people that do like the little things that they're not little
Yes.
things. Like, the show
Yeah.
would not exist without these things. And are these people doing the stuff that makes it work? And so um I don't know, like, I just thought the costumes were so incredible. And like um It's been a couple of weeks, but like the last episode I had is John, who does like he has got into prop making and painting, and like we
Mm-hmm.
even got into this discussion about how people are weathering blasters based off of how they think the character holds it and what kind of placement they have
Yes.
like in their holster, and do they fidget with it, do they clean it, do they keep
Right.
it dirty, and
Right.
it's just like that whole aspect of TV magic is just like it's mind blowing to me. So
The
I gotta.
details, the amount of details that are put into it. Yeah, absolutely. All of the pirates costumes I thought were amazing. Even the kids, right? Like we were talking about KB and her outfit and her little gadgets and whatnot. Um, and how they're personalized to the character. So yes, I thought all of the costumes were amazing. Even like all the aliens that we see in the spaceport. But yes, I like the detail that you bring out that everything is intentional and it's down to the detail of the character, and it adds so much. Like you don't notice it, and not enough credit goes to these costume designers. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying
yeah,
to look up who the costume designer, like the main
yeah.
person
I
is,
will. I will
but
help you.
I am trying to find it, and I thought I was gonna write it down, and I totally forgot who it is. But oh my gosh, you did such a great job! Like they're incredible. I feel like they all just like really, really like made you feel in the moment and
Mm,
in the place that it's supposed to where you are in the
Luis
galaxy.
Mingenbach? Louis Mingenbach is the costume designer for
So
Skeleton
good.
Crew.
So good. Great job. It
Yes.
Yeah, and the music was so good too.
Yes. The
Um
music.
the
Yep.
composers. I don't know. I don't know. I was very impressed, definitely very impressed with the costumes. Like like when you look at things like Rebels and the animation, and they have these fun animated costumes, but this felt like kind of that vibe, but like brought to like
Yeah.
live action too,
Yeah. Yeah, and just and also the sets as well, because like it was in the trailer, but when Wim and Fern are sitting like not for detention, but like to speak to whoever at the school. There's like graffiti in the background on the wall, right? And those little
Yeah,
details on sets and in the costumes,
a
it
set
makes the
design.
world.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. And their little etch a sketch desks.
Yes, that's what they're called. I was watching it and reacting to it, and I was like, "What is that little sand thingies?" That's what I called them. Yes.
Yes, I love it. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
are there some very in world, like real world
Yeah.
details that I'm like the
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not 100% Star Wars, but I still loved it. Like
Yeah.
the little like things on their bikes, like the little
The little
tassels on their
tassels.
bike,
Yeah.
and then putting
Yeah.
the gum on the back of the
Yes.
it was
The
giving
Star
like
Tours droid. Yeah.
Lucas's daughter having braces in Phantom Menace, but it's okay.
It's yes. Yeah. No, but I'm here for it. Yes.
They
Um.
should I hope they have a kid with braces in this because it'll make it even
Yes.
more like, yes,
In world.
kids in
Yeah.
Star Wars
Official.
have
They
braces.
embrace
Not
it.
just on a back planet of or an outer rim planet of Tatooine, some kid randomly had braces. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like Coruscant maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, the braces, lovely. The flashlights too. That like for the lore or whatever channel that brings up the props. It's like a
oh,
really
I
old
love that
vintage.
so
Yes.
much. They're
Yes.
one like he's
Yeah.
great. Like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But yeah,
Find
that
us the
flashlight.
cereal and all the
Yes,
things.
please. Give me the milk and the cereal. I was looking at it very intently and I was like, okay, that looks like Cocoa Puffs. That looks like a lot of sugar. I think it's just coated Cocoa Puffs. I don't know.
You know what it looked like to me? Because I remember you posted something, and it looked like if someone like I didn't pause it and like zoom in, but like
Mhm,
the quick shot of it, like, and I
mhm,
could be totally wrong, but it almost looked like the shape of like checks, but like coated in like
mm.
chocolate or something.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I was also initially in the trailer, I was like, is that Wheaties? Is that like the Wheaties that I used to eat when I was younger and add the sugar to? But yes. Um I, I commented on the trailer. It's like Star Wars. I was like, at Star Wars, please tell me what cereal this is. Die if they respond.
And I just love that that is like some, PA just was like, oh, let me go get some cereal and this
Yeah,
works, or let's coat it in
yeah,
chocolate or whatever. Like it's like it's like I stage for stuff, but this is staging for like Star Wars TV, not real life. And so it's just like
yeah.
someone found something random and you're like, oh, this works. So somebody
It's
knows what it is.
futuristic. Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
knows what it is and what they did to make it, look that way, or what the ratio of dye to make the milk, or whatever.
yeah. I was looking at that too, and I'm like, that's not regular milk. That's like soy milk. That's almond milk for lactose
Yeah, it did have
inclusive.
that look.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
texture. Yeah. Ah, the things I'm like fixated on that don't have like any meaning to the rest of the story.
You need a Star Wars breakfast, like is the vibe that I'm getting. Like, you
Yes.
need a Star Wars breakfast with Star Wars like breakfast food. Like that's
Yes, all of the Star Wars stuff that was coming out when we were kids, like the commercials and like Star Wars foods, I never got any of them, so I want them now.
girl. Have you heard the story about me and the I almost ordered one to have him sign as a joke this weekend at GalaxyCon.
No.
But so my like best friend since we were 3,
Mhm,
I mean, like she's watched Star Wars with me, but she's not like a
mhm,
huge Star Wars person. But I went on like a vacation with my parents, and she got to come with me when Attack of the Clones came out.
mhm.
And we were like, oh my gosh, Anakin is so cute, like the elevator
Yeah,
scene. We're teenage girls, all
yeah,
this. We
yeah.
begged our parents to get was cereal with Anakin on it. And we were like, we have to get this cereal box. Like I've talked about this on I think it's like with Emma on her episode of the podcast.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I don't think I did. Maybe I did, but or maybe both of us did. I don't really remember. I might have literally like shut this out of my memory because I was like so embarrassed as I got older. I don't really know. But I remember somebody, it could have been both of us. I don't want to throw her in the bus because it could have been both of us, literally cut him out of this cereal.
Is it this one?
Yes, they have it on eBay. And I was like, I thought about it so bad. Getting that cereal box and having Hayden sign it and sending it to her is like a
Oh
joke.
my
And being like,
gosh.
I got him to sign your cereal box for you.
I love that. That is such a
I really almost did it because they have them. Some of them are like not opened, which I'm like, okay, that's disgusting. I don't want the actual
right,
cereal, but just like the
right.
box is like so funny. I thought about
Yes.
ordering that and be like, Hayden, can you sign this box? I'm gonna give it to my friend as a joke.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love I love
There
that
was
so
an
much.
Anakin one and there was an Obi-Wan one. And I think everyone, sorry, you win and Obi-Wan, but all the girls were buying the Anakin
Yes.
cereal box.
I'm seeing the Django and Obi-Wan little marshmallows. Oh, amazing. Yes. I wish you had gotten that so I can see him sign it.
I know, that would have been amazing. I almost did it. I really did, but I should have just
Next
done it. I
time.
should have pulled the trigger. Maybe next year or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we can briefly talk about GalaxyCon. So, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, me and Jess are going to GalaxyCon in Columbus this weekend, and we are meeting some lovely celebrities, and we are going to have a great time. But just to let the peoples know, what are we doing? Give them some
Oh my
insight.
gosh, we're gonna go Saturday and Sunday.
Hmm.
I have to be an adult and I have to work on Friday. So I
Rude.
am flying late
Yes.
in
Hmm.
on Friday night. It's gonna be fine. We're not
Yeah.
I'm gonna, it's gonna be sleep. Who needs that? Um
Us?
and Emma,
Us?
I know,
We're
right?
talking to us. We don't need sleep.
I want to sleep. Emma's gonna come too. She's gonna be there, and a lot of
Yes.
her Llama Lords of Science will be there
Hmm.
too. Um, but But yeah, you're gonna meet Hayden for the first time.
Yes.
How
I
are
am
you feeling
excited.
about that?
I'm very nervous for both Sam and Hayden. I was waiting. I wasn't going to give it away, but we're so close to it anyways. But yes, I am meeting Sam and Hayden. I am
Sorry if
doing
I
a
gave it away.
booth. No, it is okay. I think it will. I wanted to delay it as best as I could, but I was also having a hard time containing it and not being like, I'm meeting these people. Sam, I'm very excited to meet. I have this intro. I don't know if I told Emma or I told Grayson this morning, but I want to greet him and tell him and be like, OMG, I'm finally meeting the world's best armpit farter. 'Cause he's in an interview and I just like want to like throw a little jab at it, make it memorable.
Well, all of us when we met you and we wanted to be like, that's effing Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, we were all like, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? Is somebody gonna do
Mm,
it? And we just like
mm,
couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. And
right. Too
I
nervous.
will tell you that like sometimes you can plan what you're gonna say and it happens. And then Zoe is making her Princess Doberman appearance over
Yes, her
here.
debut. Yes.
Um, and then there's other times that you're like me and you meet Mark Hamill and you can't get 2 words out and your hands are
Right.
just like
Yeah.
shaking.
Yeah.
So that happens too. But yeah, so I love that. I feel like you should do it.
I've been rehearsing it to myself. I'm like, OMG, I'll just like say it to myself in the room. All of the celebrities we are meeting is Sam, Hayden, and you are meeting your childhood princess, your favorite
Yes,
princess.
Princess Jasmine.
Yes.
I'm so
And you have a
excited.
whole fit planned for that. So I'm very excited for you.
I know, and non
Yes.
Star Wars bound. It's shocking.
Yes.
Shocking.
Oh, it's gonna be. This is if you liked this. If you like this episode on my channel, this is what you're gonna see. My videos from the con. So yes, super excited for our adventures this weekend. It seems so far, but it's gonna be like tomorrow, and you're gonna be here, and we're gonna be
I
building
know. It's gonna
Legos
go
and all that.
by. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's just so much going on, so many things. But it'll be a fun getaway, and Columbus is so fun. I've only been there once before, but I feel like it's gonna be really cool, really cool.
Yes, it is. It got down to like 16 degrees the other night.
It gets that cold. It gets that
Yeah.
cold, and it's awful, and I don't like it.
It's very cold. I'm not acclimated to it. I've lived in Texas and Florida and California and Arizona. Like my body is not it is not prepared for this amount of
Yeah.
cold.
Well, and people
Yes.
think because I live in Arkansas that it's not cold, but like the very corner that I live in, I try to explain
Hmm.
to people like that Arctic jet
Hmm.
stream that hits
Yeah.
like the northern states hits
Hmm.
this very little, it just goes bloop and like
Right.
hits this one little corner. And
Right.
so it didn't get down to 16, but it got down to like 20 the other night. And it's cold. It's
It's cold.
miserable. I don't like it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wear layers and tights and all the things. So,
Yes. But yeah.
but
Yeah.
we
So
have
that's what
plans. It's gonna be so much fun. We're not gonna freeze. It's gonna
right.
be okay.
Yeah. Walking popsicles, maybe, just for a little bit. They're from the car to the convention, but we'll be fine.
It's fine.
We'll thaw.
If I could walk around in college without a jacket because I was in denial that it was cold, it'd be fine.
Yes. So that's what's coming up on our channels, right? We've got the convention.
Yes.
Anything coming up soon for your channel for the peoples out there?
I am trying. I have 5 episodes recorded.
Uh-huh.
Um, that things have been a little crazy, so I'm
Yes.
trying to
Hmm.
get them out there. My plan is to have them all out by the end of the year. And so
Very
they'll be the
nice. Cool.
last ones. I have some really amazing guests on that are being so kind and patient with me to release the episodes. So I have 4 that have audio and video, and then I have like an additional one that is just an audio recording.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be really fun. And I will be on a couple of different podcasts about Skeleton Crew as well in the meantime over that
Yeah.
time. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to do that because it is fun to also do something a little different than what I normally do and talk about the shows and things like that too. So yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Super exciting stuff. So be sure, if you haven't already, throughout this entire video, go check out Tales of the Force. And stay tuned for those episodes. Here on Crafting on Ilum, we will have our vlogs, our cosplays that we're going to be taking to the con. Yes, Trilla. We're going to be taking Trilla
Yes.
for sure.
Oh, I guess I'll say it. I haven't told anybody yet. I'm doing a dark Padme.
Yes. Yes, you are. And it's going to turn out
Yes, I was
spectacular.
very much inspired by Jin Marie, Anakin, and his angel,
Yes.
who
Wonderful channel.
posted
Hmm.
a very fun dark Padme like picnic look bound. And so I am doing um kind of like I guess my take on that, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it. And it's gonna be really fun. And then I'm doing kind of a Jasmine fit, I guess, for the next day, which will be fun and also comfortable to fly home in.
Yes. Yes. For sure.
So, yes, but your shop, you have some stuff leaving.
I do. Thank you for reminding me. I've been posting it as much as I can for reminders. I actually just did a post today. But yes, my Gonk and my Balin design will be leaving my shop on Saturday, December 7th. So make sure that you grab the merch that you've been wanting to get, obviously, and it will be
I need to
leaving
order
at
too.
midnight. Yes. Yes. I actually have a Gonk hat that I'm going to try and give to Sam. He's not much of a hat guy. I do have my things aren't so Roger Roger for Hayden, that I will be giving to him. But here is my lovely Gonk hat.
It's so cute. I love it. I love
Yes,
it. I love
and
it. I
there
love
is
it. I love it.
mug and keychain and stickers and my Balin School stickers
You're gonna
right
give him in the mall
there.
sticker, aren't you?
Yes, my holiday mall who has a Santa hat and says, "Oh, what fun," because he says it in Rebels right before he fights some Inquisitors like a crazy person. Um, so yeah, I'm going to be giving him some of my merch. And that's one of the reasons that I'm taking it off the site is because I want it to be a limited edition for these celebrities that I'm giving some of my merch to, so make sure to grab that before that disappears. But yes, thank you so much for joining me. I've had such a wonderful time with you, as always.
Same. Thanks for letting me come on and ramble and probably talk too much.
No, I love it. You fill in the spaces where my brain is like, I
Both
don't
of our
know
brains
what
do
to
that.
say. And then the words come out, it's like, oh, that's not what I meant to say. It's just gibberish. Like no one's understanding what I'm saying.
I get it. I get it. 100%.
Yes, yes. But yes, you will find us at the cons and at many more in the future, I'm sure.
Yes. Next year is going to be fun. All the
Yes,
things.
we've got lots of events planned together.
Lots of things
So
planned. So
stay
it's going to
tuned
be
for
fun.
that episode next time. Bye.
Bye.